everyone, and welcome back to another Men Dogs video. So I've got some exciting news. So I'm going to go over the ISO 8 FAQ post. I'm going to show again the update or an updated version of the Reminex spreadsheet that he's working with some excellent content creators and some big people in the community, and just show you how that's sort of progressing through. And I also have a really cool thing that's hit the Australian shores now to share with you. So as always, hit that like and subscribe button so you're not missing a thing, and let's get on with it. Alright, so it was posted today, the ISO FAQ. There's been a couple of questions throughout the process. Most of it has sort of been shown through testing. However, it's really good to see Scopely actually identifying some of these issues. So we'll quickly go through the ISO FAQ. So there's been many questions about the ISO since release last week, so we'll put together an FAQ to help clear up any confusion. Do summons get the bonus? Summons, which include Dark Phoenix ability, Phoenix Rising, so you know when she dies and she comes back, and the Doc Ox ability, Sinister Recharge. That's the one where he summons like Shocker, Rhino, depending on who you've got left. Will receive the crystal stat bonuses, but will not receive the class bonuses or effect. So if you've got Raider on Phoenix, or Healer, or Fortify, or whatever, when she reses, she won't be able to get that. Additionally, Mr. Sinister's ability Clone will receive Mr. Sinister's ISO 8 crystal bonuses, but not any of his class-related bonuses or effects. So we've seen that through all the testing, that any of the summons have obviously not been carrying over the actual abilities themselves, but they have been getting that 2, 4, 8, 6, whatever the percentages of the stat bonuses. Now, it's really interesting to see whether they'll change the Dark Phoenix ability, because it's not really a clone. She's more transforming into a different being. So though they have identified this, I'll be interested to see if they do change it in a later patch. So hopefully Dark Phoenix can get it, because at the moment ISO 8 isn't really doing too much for Dark Phoenix. Obviously stat bonuses are nice, but having that class being missing from them, I understand from the clone, I understand from the Doc Ox perspective, but the Phoenix thing, I think they're probably going to have to redress that, hopefully in a later patch. What does primary hit mean? Primary hit is the first attack on the primary target. For example, if Gamora uses her special ability, Ruthless Blade, the primary hit is the first attack of the chain. For Gamora's basic Assassin Strike ability, it only triggers on the first hit, but not for any of the bonus hits. So yeah, it's obviously that the first hit, and that comes into when you're looking at the classes for like Skirmisher and stuff like that. So yeah, interesting. We already sort of knew what that meant, but it's good. As I said, most of these are really good just to for them to acknowledge the fact. This is a big one that we've been talking about a lot on my stream and with the community. So which this is exactly how we thought it actually worked, but it's good to see that there's some confirmation. Does plus A active healing affect Minerva's ultimate ability pass? Someone can pronounce that in the chat and tell me about it. No, the plus active abilities does not affect health still. So Dark Phoenix's special bestow light, Ebony Maw's ultimate force transfusion or redistribute health, Scarlet Witch's special warped reality, or Mantis's ultimate soothe. So we actually thought that this was not the case with it. I did have Healer on Minerva more for that when it's her turn, she provides that regeneration just because of how I've set Minerva up, and there's a lot of turn meter getting fed to her, but I knew it wasn't increasing that because it's a defined amount that she obviously redistributes. So it's good to see that they've sort of talked about this, but yeah, it's going to definitely change what we actually think Minerva's ultimate ability is going to be if you don't want that. So as I said, I'm using the heal one because she's going so often. She's in with like a Hela, so she's got Greg doing that, and there's a couple other ways where she gets that extra 5% from her passive, so she's going a lot quicker. So that's why I've got the heal on her, but yeah, it does not affect her ultimate ability. How are ISO 8 bonuses calculated in a character stats? If they are actively stacked with the red star stat bonuses, if you want to pop the hood and see what's going on in detail here, they've actually given the formula for the breakdown of ISO 8 base stats. So it's health, armor, damage, focus, and resistance. So the final stat is, and as you can see there, the base stat, Stark Tech, War Room, Red Star plus ISO 8 plus flat stat bonuses, and then the character passives are included there. So it'll be a lot easier to start working out the increase in bonuses from now on, because now we actually know the formula. So it was really cool that they actually gave that. For non-healer characters, level 1 healer gains 5% active healing. Level 3 healer heals the lowest health ally by 5%. Does the 5% of this character's gain in level 1 player roll? Does this then become 10% heal? For example, with someone like Thanos, if healer level 3 heal for 5 or 10%. Active healing is a multiplier on all healing done by abilities, which do count passives. Anytime a character heals the character with a non-regeneration source, it will heal for 5, 10, 20% more as a multiplier. Therefore, 20% healing is taking the final heal amount and multiplying by 1.2. For example, healing for 1,000 plus 5% with active healing is 1.2 times 1,000 plus 5% equals 1,200 plus 6%. So yeah, it's really good that they're doing a bit of a breakdown. I think overall the actual ISO 8 has actually been a really good success. Talking to a lot of you guys in the community, and you're actually really enjoying the theory crafting behind it. As I've said on streams many times, I think this is a very good system that they came in. It's relatively simple. We are seeing that crunch trying to get those characters up to 5. However, I think with the milestones that they've added just to get people excited about it in the last couple of weeks, I think we've still got another 7 days or something for those milestones. So make sure you're maxing out those milestones. Relatively easy to get as well. But yeah, I think those ISOs, the actual currency themselves, are definitely going to be that crunch. As a free to switch classes, as we already knew, it is free to swap between classes, but it does cost to upgrade them. But once you upgrade, you don't actually lose it, which is pretty good. And I think that gives some flexibility. And I'm very interested to see whether they expand in the future, whether they're changing the classes, whether they add more classes. And I like it how once you've got the ISOs to 5, and if they did bring out more classes, you could bounce between them. And one of the things that I'm interested to see is we're finding that there's usually a better class. However, there is a couple other classes that do work in certain comps or certain areas. And I was saying to my stream, I wonder if they're going to have like different game modes where you're better off say having most of them healers, even though they're probably not going to necessarily have a healer tag, but given that regeneration when it's their turn and stuff like that. So I'm super interested to see what they do with this class. Expect probably a year out from now, we'll probably go from high to 5. They'll probably expand on it, but I think at the moment they've done a really good job. Alright, when a character has skirmishes selected, under what circumstances will they not apply vulnerable when they assist, attack, or counter attack? A character with the skirmisher class selected will not apply vulnerable on attack passive abilities. For example, Cull's Obsidian's passive payback will not apply vulnerable when an enemy attacks an ally, Thanos or Ebony Maw. That would also include characters like Shield Trooper and Punisher. For additional clarification, the Raider class does not work on assist attacks or counter attacks. Only Skirmisher does. So we're actually seeing some good changes to the Skirmisher class. I don't think it's going to overall change the validity of Raider and stuff like that. However, yeah, Skirmisher is definitely coming up to be a big class that I'm really big fan of. Do counter-attacks apply vulnerable? We're currently investigating issues where vulnerable is not applying correctly with counter-attack. Will be posted. So they're going to let us know. They're investigating that. So hopefully within the end of the week. Do the effects of vulnerable stack on itself? No. While vulnerable can stack more than once, the effects of the ability, including the 10% increase in damage, do not stack. So definitely a very good clarification there. And can vulnerable be blocked, dodged, or resisted? An attack on an enemy that successfully hits will always apply vulnerable if eligible. If the attack would apply vulnerable is dodged, then vulnerable is not applied. So obviously if you're dodging it, but it's going to always apply. So that's a very cool thing. I'm actually really enjoying vulnerable as a buff, and yeah, really happy with that. All right, guys. So that does the update. Now, I just really want to show you something that's super. All right. So sorry about that. The office reset, so I had to close the game down. But something that's really interesting for us Aussies that hasn't been a thing till recently is look at this, guys. Want to do something. Spider-Man got 50 shards. Pretty excited about that. But now we do have. Look at that. Play Store points. This is brand new. Happened today. So I just want to point that out. We can start getting pay points. Now, why that's important is because with pay points, you can actually you build up points and then you can actually spend them on in-game crystals and stuff like that. So something very interesting. I definitely highly recommend you do that. I think I'm going to start now purchasing on only Google Play because obviously Apple doesn't do this. So anyway, that wraps it up, guys. Have a great one. And I look forward to seeing you guys at the MSF Roundtable live on Friday night. Get excited. All right. Cheers, guys. Bye.